Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again. I'm joined today again by the wonderful, effervescent Liz Cross, psychic medium and remote viewing extraordinaire. How are you doing today, Liz?
Well, apparently I'm effervescent. What do you have for us today?
Well, I have a thought process and a line of questions that I want to run past and see how it pans out. So we're going to start with the bill that was just recently passed in Congress, which is the sort of watered down version of their Build Back Better. But in it, there is a provision for, I think it's 78,000 or 80 odd thousand extra new IRS agents. And of those, I believe about 90% of them or something are also going to be armed. So there's big budgets going through now to get extra arms for various federal agencies, including the IRS. And so I want to look into why the federal government is going to hire so many new IRS agents. What's the purpose of that? So can we group the US government together, or can we?
Yes, or do you want to start with grouping the IRS by itself, because they would have submitted their reasons for wanting more people?
No, I don't. I think this is more coming the other way. I think this is coming from the government and telling the IRS you're going to be bigger, and then what's not to love if you're in the IRS.
Let's ask. Let me group the IRS. Were you told that by the government that you needed to expand? Yes, they did. They were. And did you ask for those 80 whatever thousand plus employees? No. Okay, so there we go. We're going to move on to the government now. Okay, what would you like to know?
What was the reason for having 78,000 extra IRS agents?
What is the reason for wanting to employ as many thousands of extra IRS agents? Because the system can't cope as it is right now.
In what way can't it cope?
In what way can the system cope? There's too much work. Too many people are falling through the cracks. The government feels as if it's being completely ripped off by millions of people. Okay. And there's too much sliding going on here. Are you carrying out as many audits as you used to? The audits have gone down to a minimal thing. Now, for our non-USA listeners, the government over here will audit you in your taxes, okay? You have to file your taxes every year without fail. If you do not file your taxes, I believe you can end up in a lot of big trouble. Although I do know people that have never filed taxes, but then they don't earn, they don't earn anything, or they certainly don't earn a lot of money. However, the government, when they ask you to be audited, this is again just a reminder or just letting our non-USA listeners know, because we do have a lot of people around the world, you have to prove like every single penny you earned and spent. And it's not easy to do. And what they do is if they find a discrepancy in there, you can end up in a lot of trouble. You can end up with a large fine. I think the fine may be $10,000. I'm not sure. But anyway, do go ahead, Mr. Shakespeare.
Right. Okay. So why do these? Why do so many? They've effectively doubled, or they're going to effectively double the entire workforce of the IRS. So they're literally doubling them.
It's needed.
It's needed. Why do they need to be armed?
Why do IRS employees need to be armed? Because it's their right.
Is that right? Okay.
Not making a lot of sense right now, but I'm sure with a lot of questioning we'll get there.
Okay. We need to ask the. So there's about they'll end up with 175,000 approximately IRS agents. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that compares with something like 700,000 total law enforcement in the US and only 7,800 FBI agents. So, you know, why is the government pushing so much now on the IRS, you know, to make this like the biggest?
Why are you making the IRS so large? Because we have to regain control of this situation. It is completely out of control. Now, let's ask this question. Is it to do with the fact that you are planning to regulate cryptos and you need more IRS agents to help regulate? Yes. Okay, here you go. So with this, there's no point putting in these mass crypto regulations, right? If they don't have the employees to handle it.
Right.
Why would they do that? The system is already overworked as it is. Have you tried to call the IRS lately? I mean, we had to call the IRS just a few months ago for a very slight mishap on, I think it was an address or a name or whatever. And you can't get through to anybody on the phone. The local offices are shut down. The major city offices, for the most part, are shut down because of allegedly COVID. It's probably just due to lack of staff. Is it due to lack of staff? Yes. Okay, there you go. And they're a nightmare to get hold of. So if you're going to bring in this mass regulation, so you know that the government are trying to monitor every, Cash App transaction, Venmo transactions, PayPal transactions. They just don't have the manpower to deal with this massive regulation that's coming in. So this is what's going on. We're going to get the employees in, we're going to train them up, and then we're going to see mass regulation.
Right. Okay. I need to get hold on 1 minute.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll ask some more questions.
Please, I need to just do
Sorry,
something.
when we're doing these probes, everybody, we're thinking on our feet, right? Because the answers that are coming back, you may not have prepared for. You have to be able to adjust your line of questioning around the answers, okay? So what sorts of regulation are you planning to bring in? They want to monitor every single transaction that is made in the US, okay? That's what they're looking to do. Now, how do you intend to do that? Is it through a pure electronic payment system? No. So there you go. Because I thought, well, they'd have to have lots of people to monitor it if they're going strictly over to an electronic or digital system, but it doesn't appear that they're going to. Are you still going to have cash in circulation in the next coming years? Yes. So cash will still be in circulation. This is all gearing up for something really big.
Okay. All right. Can we just drop the government for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get hold of this guy, R. Scott Jones?
Okay. Hello. He's very friendly. Yes.
All right. Can we move him forward to January the 7th, 2024?
2024. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
January 7th, 2024. 2024, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, yes. What would you like to know?
Is he still a tax attorney?
He's still a tax attorney. Yes.
What has been the effect of the IRS employing, all these extra agents these past 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, whatever?
Has been the effect or the reason the IRS has employed these thousands of extra agents over the past 18 months, 2 years. Regulation and control.
Okay. Is he aware of any situation where the IRS has gone after people, essentially bankrupted them, or, used felony procedures against them, which then stop them having a gun?
Okay, that's a very long question. Can you shorten that for me and maybe break it down into 2 or 3 sections?
Okay, so here's what I think will go on. I think there's an element of one of the reasons why they're using these tax lawyers is partly to get extra money, of course, but I think this is their backdoor way into gun control.
Oh, okay.
And because if they find, they're only going to go after the middle classes in states that they want, obviously. If 5 IRS agents turn up at your door, basically say you've underdeclared, the US tax code is so complicated, is so impossible that they'll always find a problem. They can go after you and levy all these fines, essentially, could take everything, including your gun. And then, of course, if you end up on a red flag list or something like that, then you can't have a gun. Are they going to use this as a form of gun control?
Are they using the IRS as a form of gun control? No. Not that he's aware of. No.
Okay.
Why are IRS agents armed with weapons? For enforcement.
Really?
Yes. Is it because they're going to start making house calls? Yes. So they're going to start really putting people out back in the field. Listen, back in the day, if you owe taxes, they'll come padlock your home, padlock your business, and they have to have officers to do that.
Yeah.
If these officers are going to go back out and start padlocking your home and businesses, which we have not seen, excuse me, certainly in the area that I live, we have not seen that in years. It could be that they just don't have the employees to do that. And if they're bringing in a lot more regulation, well, then there'll be more enforcement. That's why they're armed. But I understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
Because you're trying, look, let's ask this question. Because every time I move the government out, or every time I probe somebody about the massive gun grab, right? It's not going anywhere. So let me ask the US government, are you using IRS agents to enforce gun control? No.
Okay.
But in theory, I could understand why people have come up with that, because it is bizarre.
Let's drop him and let's see Mary King. Can we grab her, please?
Okay. Yeah.
We'll take somebody from a different state. She's a Florida tax attorney, so let's grab her.
Okay.
She move her out to January the 7th, 2024.
January 7th. Hi, I'm here. January 7th, 2024, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. What would you like to know?
Is she still a tax attorney? Tax lawyer?
Are you still a tax attorney? Yes.
Okay. Has she, what effect has she noticed of all of these extra IRS agents that have been employed by the federal government? I mean, what has she noticed over the last year or two?
Over the last year with all these extra IRS employees. Life is getting harder for people. Okay. In what way? They're coming down on people now. They've been very, very lenient, she says, over the last few years, but they're really starting to come down.
Okay. Does she know of any cases where the IRS have, got it to the point where through fines or bankruptcy or putting these people on red flags lists, that they've had their, they've either had their guns taken away or they're not allowed to have guns anymore?
Has the IRS confiscated people's property and guns? No, not that she's aware of for the people that she works for. And just broadly speaking, has the IRS really started to clamp down and enforce on people? She believes so. Okay. You're really having to account where your money's coming from. Do you believe this has to do with cryptos? She does believe that some of this has to do with cryptos.
Okay.
But just in general, there's a lot of money changing hands that is not accounted for, and it's not being reported.
Right.
And the government believes that by employing all these extra agents, employees, whatever you want to call them, they will more than make up for their expenditure in hiring and training and paying these wages and the taxes that will be collected for what is not accounted for at the moment. Does that
I can see that. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of money coming out on wages and training, but also obviously they will make sure that they get a lot more in. I mean, as I said, the US tax code is so complicated that everybody is guilty of something. So
it is very complicated, and you want to try and keep it as simple as possible.
So my advice to everybody is pay your taxes.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's, you can go for the complicated forms or you can go for the simple forms. I can assure you, I do the simple forms. I like things simple and easy. I do not want IRS agents knocking at my door. And I think that's how most people are. Now, obviously, if your tax situation is complicated, then yes, you would have to get a tax lawyer involved, or you can sit there trying to do it yourself, which is, hard. But that's what's coming. It's going to be a lot more regulation, a lot tighter controls. And I did like the angle of this questioning because that makes sense to me. But it doesn't look, certainly 2 years out, or actually not even 2 years out, 18 months out, as if they're grabbing guns. Now, that could be a possibility in the future.
So I went that far out because obviously in 2024 there's the presidential elections in November, so I didn't want to go quite as far as that. But the effect of the extra IRS agents should be known by the beginning of 2024. We should be seeing things that are basically, if you get an IRS, they're not going to attack the poor people with this, but the middle classes, if you like, the ones that they want to go after, and obviously not the seriously rich. But you are basically into tax attorney and accountancy. You have to have professional help. If they come after you and say, we're going to audit you, they're going to find a problem. And depending on your level, there's going to be a problem of which you then have to get into a situation with them. I mean, these people don't leave without money.
Right.
They don't leave without money. So if they target you, you're going to pay something. It doesn't matter if you think you're the squeakiest clean or not. You will pay. You'll pay something because essentially they're uninvited. and all the costs of everything of sending them there, as far as they're concerned, they have to get that back and then some. There has to be a profit made on any IRS visit. Like you said earlier, they employ 80,000 more people, which is going to cost a lot of money in wages and training. They want that back and then some. It's all business, just business.
It is. It is all business. Look, every time we've done these probes, it's follow the money trail, right?
Yeah.
They're going to profit from this. I doubt that they will go into deficit. Let's ask. Let me move the U.S. government out to the end of 2024. So let's go December 31st, 2024, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, what can we ask the U.S. government here? Has hiring all of those additional tax agents and employees helped? Yes, tremendously.
Oh, it would, and I can see why. It's obvious. They've got them. If there is a problem, and there probably is, if there is a problem of enforcement or just doing audits, for argument's sake, everybody, it takes a lot of manpower, and you could totally see it from their point of view. I mean, I get it. I mean, yes. If they want to get more money, you put more money into you put more money into that department. It makes perfect sense. I mean, if we want to get more taxes, it's we've got to invest a bit in more staff, train them and everything else, and then set them on the people. I mean, essentially that's what they do.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. No, ma'am. Thank you so much. Well, thanks everybody. Again, if you want to book a reading with me, psychiclizcross.com. I can channel, I can do future self, I can do past lives, lots and lots of things. I can remote view. And that's where you'll find me. If you want to support this YouTube channel, please go to Patreon /remote viewing and beyond. Thank you very much.